Hey guys, it has been way too long since my last SketchUp YouTube video, and so this is just kind of me wanting to apologize for why it's been so long since my last video. I haven't done one since the 27th of August, which was nearly 4 months ago now. The idea was I was going to release the series of tours of each city, all 5 of them, over the summer holidays. And so I released one every month or so, and I got until August, and then this 4th one, or the 4th city, the final video, was supposed to come out in September, and I recorded the video on the 9th of September. But I've been having a lot of trouble with my screen recorder, which meant that the image corrupted every time I tried to record it. I was using Xbox DVR. The audio was fine, so that was fine, but the imaging, or the images just didn't. They were just pixelated and glitchy, kind of like my tutorial, basic tips tutorial video, but way more extreme. And I kept retrying it, because I know the solution is, the reason it happens is when there's too many still pixels. So I tried to get rid of that, and I kept trying, but it kept happening. And it really started to kind of stress me out, and I just thought, hey, I'll come back to it in like a week or so. I'll, give myself a break on this sort of thing. And then I started my final year of university, which it's been incredibly busy. And I just got swamped with work, and I pushed the SketchUp stuff back further and further, and I got more work that I still haven't done for other things, and I was just overwhelmed. And I was behind, and now I think I'm kind of on the ball again on my university work, and I had this weekend free, and I thought I may as well, work on these videos now, get them out of the way. So yeah, and I thought I'd just put this little disclaimer beforehand, so thank you everyone for your patience. I've still been gaining subscribers, which surprises me considering my absence in videos, but there you go, thanks guys. This video has now been released, and then I've also got 2 more videos which I plan to release soon, which are being made, which are it's actually something I'm going to call a SketchUp archive, which is old recordings that I never released back 2-3 years ago, that I recorded back on my old MacBook, and I thought they just looked kind of cool, so I thought I'd release them. They're 2 small speed builds, so those will be uploaded eventually. As for other SketchUp stuff at this stage, I have had ideas, and I've been doing little work on map making on SketchUp, which is like creating a 2D sort of top-down map of my cities, because that was the original reason I actually made the SketchUp city. The first SketchUp city in the first place was actually to make a map, and then I made it 3D. So that's something I've been working on in Photoshop, so I might make a video on that, but like I said, I'm very busy this year, busiest I've ever been, so don't expect heaps of SketchUp videos, but I will also release my university work, which I like to think will be pretty good. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Thanks for watching and keeping up so far, and enjoy the actual video. Welcome to my 4th city that I made on SketchUp. This is the one that I made in around April of 2014, so it was a couple months after I'd finished making my city V3, which was on YouTube. So this is one that no one's actually seen on YouTube before, so it's on the 3D warehouse, but it was quite an important stage in the city building process, because it involved a lot of new techniques that weren't used when I was making City V3. The biggest changes, I think, are the way the blocks are developed. So instead of lots of curved roads, everything's based on square grids, which is what you see in City V5. So here you can see that there's different grids across the city, and using straight roads with corners was a lot more time efficient than using curved roads. I mean, there are still some curved roads in here, but rather than free-handing everything and basing the entire city on curved roads, it meant that everything was more space efficient, and it's easier to create buildings that are square, that all line up with the same axes that SketchUp's based upon. So that saves a lot of time in making the city, and also it meant that I didn't have to make pavements, because I'd create the blocks anyway before the roads. So I didn't even need to draw the roads, because what I do is just draw each block out, and then draw the buildings dotted on top. So not only did it save a lot of time, but it made it a lot more realistic as well. Again, it's the same sort of theme as every city I've done, a sort of American style city with skyscrapers in the middle and random smaller buildings on the outside. As you can tell, obviously I never finished this city because it was really just an experiment to see if this could be done, and it definitely could. Another thing I experimented with in this city was trying to make those sort of New York style apartment blocks that have different building fronts around the whole block, and I did try that. I didn't do it too much in my 5th city, but I did do it a little bit, just to keep the variation going, and as well as that, different rooftop colors. But you can see it here, sort of one interconnected building with different building faces on the inside and out. So I did this is at the point where I downloaded quite a lot more building textures to proceed with texturing the city. I only did a light bit of texturing on this city, but I did the entire outside of all the blocks. So you can see here I went all the way around the edge of the city trying to texture each building. I never intended to finish texturing the whole thing, so a lot of it remains white, but the blocks are definitely more realistic in style and architectural style compared to the 3rd city I made. As for points of interest on the map, there aren't too many. I mean, I really like the skyscraper I made in this one, like the tall skyscrapers. Obviously they all are quite similar throughout each city, but I like this one a lot in particular. I can't really think of a main reason why, but I do like how thin it is for its height, which matches a few of the new buildings in Manhattan that they're doing that are really, really thin and really tall. There's a nice parking lot I made for a sort of shopping centre thing here, with divided parking spaces on the tarmac as well. Another thing I like is this little housing estate here with these curved roads and these nice buildings, even some with slanted roofs. And there's a car down here for scale. So they are actually quite big houses. There's the car, and the houses are massive compared to it. But it's just a really nice little avenue. I really like what I did here, and I think it's a shame I didn't do something like this in the 5th city I made. But oh well. Like in the other cities, there are some buildings that are scaled correctly with decoration and people. So there's one here, this little shop front here, which is, although it seems like a three-story building is quite big, it's dwarfed by it's the surrounding buildings, especially the skyscrapers. Here was the idea for the apartments that are in CEV5. I just tried them out, seeing a good height and width for them and a good roofing style. So there's the extruded and sort of intruded roofing here. And yeah, I implemented these apartment complexes in CEV5. There's another car there for scale. I think I dotted a lot of cars around. This building was quite weird. I think it was going to be like some fancy hippie art center, but I didn't texture it. But I just thought it was a cool effect you could do with the offset or inset tool and a bit of extruding. So that got its own block, but I did start drawing more blocks, but didn't bother extruding them. I mean, this was supposed to be as large as CEV5, but it never finished being built. Here's some garages where the tarmac actually goes all the way inside, which I think is a cool look. I haven't really done that a lot. And then this is an experiment to do sort of repetitive housing, but I think it didn't turn out really well at all. The houses are way too close together and way too repetitive, unlike in CEV5, so the streets just look really ugly when you actually look down them. So that was something that I kind of disbanded, having just repetitive blocks, but I rather had the houses follow the streets randomly. and they were dotted around evenly, just to keep the variation up. And one thing that is unique to this city model that I did is the hills in the background. They were just an experiment, really, to see if I can make it look like I'm not just in this flat plane of infinite, flatness. So what I did was I got these just freehand drawing hills in 2D pieces that I made, textured them green, added fog, and angled them all the way around the city. And so, oopsie daisy, from a distance it kind of looks like there's a hill on the horizon, especially if you if you soft erase the lines on the edge by holding shift while you erase them. It really does help make them look like distant hills, but it's quite hard to make a curved one. That would be the best thing, just a curved, hilly backdrop that goes around the entire city, because then it would never break, and because as you can see here, the fog affects it at different distances. So I didn't really bother with that in my newest city, but it is something to consider if I make another city in the future. And that's basically it for this video. I mean, it's a small city considering it's not finished, and there's not a heap of detail that I put in, but there are a few points of interest, and it was very important to creating City V5 and making it as realistic as it was, mainly for the block structure and the paving and the time saving. So there was a lot less I had to skip out in the City V5 series. But yeah, that is the tour of City V4. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.